Well, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. I'm so excited. I was in a great mood of getting up this morning and getting started and getting ready for this program, getting ready for you guys. So I thank the Lord for everybody at UPTV, Jason, Jake, Ryan's over there videotaping this program for tonight's show. And I thank the Lord for everybody that say, Sean, I watch your TV program every Sunday night. I'm so honored to have my friend, Herbert Burnett, that's on the program, and he's an elder, and he's a coach, and he's a business owner, and so we dialogue a lot back and forth, and I'm so excited. He hasn't been on the program in quite a while, and we kind of dialogued yesterday, and he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, I'm taping a TV program for this program on Sunday night today. Would you mind coming on over? And he was gracious enough to accept the offer, and we're going to dialogue and have a conversation with you guys. And I thank the Lord for all of you guys out there within the program. Our program today is going to be entitled, Is Your Life About Ritual or Is Your Life About Change? And what do you think about that topic of ritual and change?
I think it's an awesome topic. When you first told me, Sean, that's what you wanted to talk about, it blew me back because it covers so much.
Yeah.
There's so many facets, so many different angles you can go at it. And so I'm going to just let you ride and I'm going to roll with you.
Yeah. You know, so many times I've heard it in a sermon that Pastor Johnson preached one day about ritual and change. Mm-hmm. And so many times we're so stuck in our everyday motions, our everyday traditions, and things that we do that we never look outside the box. And so when we're trying to change our lives, because a lot of people are in the same positions that we are, we want some relief, we want some peace, and so we want some change. But if you keep doing the same old thing, expecting different results,
amen. That's insanity.
That's insanity.
You know, Sean, I tell this story all the time about tradition or rituals to where a young man was married and it was the holiday and his wife was cooking a turkey and she was using this small pot. And he said, why are you using that small pot? He said, well, that's the pot. She said, that's the pot you're supposed to use. He said, no, that's too small. I said, no, that's the pot my mama used. So then he called her mama, his mother-in-law, and I said, why do you use that pot? And she said, well, that's the pot my grandmama used. So he called her grandmama, and the grandmama said, well, I used the pot because that was the only one I had. So
and you know what? It's so much of our life is about what we learned from others, and it's generational things passed down, and it's almost like and we'll tweak it. We'll tweak it as our lives go on, and as it gets passed down, we'll tweak it, and as society moves and advances, we'll tweak it a little bit. And I'm for what was old and some things and keeping that tradition there because I think that we need that. But some things are passed down where we need to bend done squashed it, bend done let it go, and started a newfound way.
Right.
And so I think that tradition is good sometimes, and it has its right perspectives and right space. But I do believe that we need to be evolving as life evolves.
Yes, sir. The tradition should be used as a foundation, and you should build up on that foundation. Back in the old days at Grove Street, they used to sing a song say every round go higher and higher.
Yeah.
So every group of people, every age group should go higher.
Yeah.
They should stand on the shoulders of the other. And so it should be every level, it should go higher. But tradition, good tradition should be the foundation. All traditions are not good.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, as you look back in history, you know, there was some things that was going on.
Right.
And even in the Old Testament, there was some things that was going on in the Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
That you couldn't even fathom in today's society.
We clicking, because as soon as before you got Old Testament out, Abraham in Genesis 20 lied and said Sarah was his sister, right? Isaac wasn't born to Genesis 21. So he was born after Abraham told the lie. He wasn't even born when Abraham told a lie. But in Genesis 26, Isaac told the same lie. You know, so that you have generational curses.
Generational curses, and
yes, sir.
And so many times, you know, we've patterned away, and I talk about this because my new saying, and I'm gonna get some shirts printed up this is my new saying, because I've been in a bunch of spaces and coalition meetings, and we're going to talk about the violence here in a minute. But I've said to those people, and they're always saying, well, what is the problem? You know, chiefs trying to find out, city manager, city leaders are trying to find out, community leaders are trying to find out, you know, organizations are trying to find out, how can we wrap our minds around this violence, you know, like it's something new. But, you know, I'm biblical, you know, and I've been around the church for a long time, and I learned that it's nothing new under the sun. But what I was able to explain to these leaders as they're trying to wrap their minds around it, because not everybody's biblical. Not everybody know the word. And everybody ain't got it hidden in their heart. You know, everybody got it. I done said it enough services that I laid back off service yesterday because I told them I done been to enough meetings, to the meetings.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to come up out the huddle.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so, but I explained to these leaders that hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
And that's what my shirt gonna say. Hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
So as we went generations, we talked about generations, and as the grandmama was hurt, and the granddaddy was hurt because they was beat up on, and then they taught their daughter, and she was hurt, and then the man left her, and then they raised some kids, and then the kids been hurt.
That's right.
Now, as and we don't have enough funding. Our state is going through a turmoil about funding, and so there's no resources out here. You know, reentry program is my brother Marlon Mitchell started. There's no assistance out here, so he had to develop a program to assist others. And so hurt people are hurting other people. And the way he developed this program, because he's seen the hurt, because he was a victim of hurt.
That's right. That's right.
So it's some good that can come out of the hurt.
That's right.
If you look on the other side of the mountain.
That's right.
But you got to be able to see outside the ritual box.
You got to be able to see, and a lot of people can't. You know, on yesterday, my nephew would have been 41, and we celebrated his birthday, and my Facebook profile picture had a picture of me kissing him, and we were in Indianapolis, and he was getting ready to ship out, and we were so elated. I was running the Army recruiting station here. But he said, Hub, just get me out of town. I want to get out of Champaign-Urbana. I know my dad and mom got money, but I want to do something different. And he was able to get out of here, served 10 years in the military and 3 tours in Iraq. He left, gone too soon, he died. But he accomplished in those 10 years what most people don't accomplish in life. But he was able to get out of here. And one of the problems, and I don't want to get ahead of you, but one of the problems are people are stuck. They are stuck right where they are, and nobody is helping them to get out. We had Bible study this morning. One of the elders was talking about the stuff that he used to do before he was saved. And I said, you know, it's people right now that's on heroin, and they need to hear your story. Because here you are now, did 25 years in the Air Force. You've been married 40 years, and one of the Bishop Gwen's right-hand men, and you know, beautiful home. But they need to hear your story, because they don't believe that they believe this heroin has them. And it's one word. Well, really it's 2 words. Love is the one word, but love's cousin is hope. And so many people, not only in this community, but all over the country, are losing hope. So they don't have a problem with blowing a joke away, because they ain't got nothing to live for anyway.
Oh yeah, and so you know, and one of the stories I thought about while you were speaking is that you know, I went to a church service on the other day, and it was to support a great man, and so I don't want to give it all away, but you know, but when I got to that service, and I seen some of the old saints that I went that taught me, but and you said stuck. And you know, and so many times that we can't see outside the box, and we can't see what God really has for us because we stuck. So one of the conversations that I had with some of the people on my radio program, because I'm no minister, they're ministers, so I wanted them to be able to reverence to the audience, the listening audience, and tell them what the Word of God really says, and so and kind of solving and saying some things to help the violence, and I always believe that God got to be in the middle of it.
Yes, sir.
He got to be the chief orchestrator
sir.
of what's going on. He got to be involved. And so as I spoke to them, I said, what was Jesus' task to the disciples. And both the ladies said, to go out. I said, well, why y'all done went in? Why have so many people have done ritual? We done been trained to go in. We done went into the church and we have not took the word back outside the church. So how can you expect community to grow? How can the young man get the message? How can the young lady get the message if we all stuck?
Right.
And so when I seen those old saints,
that's good.
when I seen those old saints, they looked like in the same place during the time when I was 12 years old in the same service, doing the same old song. The organist might have changed, but the chord's still the same.
Same.
The drummer might have changed.
That's right.
But the beat's still the same.
Still the same. Still the same.
Still the same.
Still the same.
And so when one of the ladies came up to me, you know, we done got a little bit more outside the box now. So, you know, the old Urshus used to come up to you and say, put that gum right in my hand, right here, spit that on out. So I was texting because I'm doing community stuff and I'm just trying to go down here and associate myself to celebrate with y'all. But I got some business to take care of too. So I'm on my phone texting.
You got two birds with one stone.
I'm knocking out two birds with one stone. So I'm texting because I got a program I'm trying to set up with the state's attorney about this violence.
Right.
So I'm hitting her back and she hit me back. And the woman said, hey, you setting a bad example for the youth in here. Right. I'm trying to save the youth. You don't even know what's going on. And she telling me to put my phone down. You know, so many times we so stuck on tradition. You know, so stuck on tradition. I wasn't disrespecting their service. Nobody seen me but me and the usher and God. What was going on, but you know, we got to get outside the box. We got to understand how to entertain the relationships that God has even allowed us to be in our presence.
Two things. Number one, Revelations 2 and 3 chapters. John was on the island of Patmos and he had a vision from God, and God told him about the past, 7 churches and all that. Told him about the present, but in Revelation 4, before he would tell John about the future, he said, come up hither. He said, you got to come up for me to tell you what's finna happen next, you got to come up a little higher. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because you can't see it from where you are. If I'm on the ground, I can see around me. But if I stand on top of the assembly hall, I can see the whole time. So a lot of people, they stuck. And God is calling for them to come up higher so they can see. He want to show them something, but they stuck. The other thing is, you got Ford, General Motors, Procter & Gamble, all spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl Sunday. Because the Super Bowl is one of the greatest events watched all over the world. But if the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys was in the Super Bowl and they spent the whole game in a huddle, wouldn't nobody want to pay for that, man? Ain't nobody spending millions of dollars for no huddle, man. We caught up in the huddle. We got this church coming over here. We going to their church. We having this musical. We caught up in the huddle. And our community is in ruins. And you show me any town, I can go to any town and I can look at the community and see what the church doing. We stuck.
You know, and getting back to you viewers, the topic today: are you still in ritual, or you really want some change? And so, and you saying that, and you saying the church is in the huddle. Well, deep in my heart, and this the views and opinions of Sean, so charge to my head and not to my heart. But at the same time, they stuck on, it ain't the huddle, as smart to say, they stuck on the funding. It's all about the dollars. And I believe that dollars is good, because we in business. And you need them dollars to be able to make something happen, and make something happen for other people. But in order to get a blessing, you got to be a blessing. And so we ain't stuck on, it's the greater task that Jesus gave to the church also, is to be a blessing. Not to just get the blessing. Don't just get the funding. You know, and I always say this here. You know, when it comes down to funding, you got to be able to give. And then it's going to come on back to you. If you invest into your people and send them out and let them go out the church and spread the word of God and spread that love and that peace and that message,
Yes,
then
sir.
we could solve a lot of issues.
Yes, sir.
And then come
Yes,
on
sir.
back.
Yes, sir.
And then
Right.
while I was out there
Right.
in the wilderness, while I was out there in the wilderness, because we trying to win in the wilderness. And so while I'm out there trying to win souls in the wilderness, I'm going to come back with a little something. And while I'm out there, because God going to bless you, while I'm coming back out, somebody going to get to me because they looking for a word.
Yes, sir. Yes,
See,
sir.
it's a
Yes,
rich
sir.
man out here.
Yes, sir.
And the rich man going to say, man, I didn't understand it until you explained it to me like some of my buddies have said. And then they, man, what do you need? One of my buddies said, what do you need? Well, what if I don't, Sean, what if I go buy the building for you? See, he in the world. He ain't at your church, but he got plenty. He said, well, I'll go buy the building for you, Sean. And then you just go ahead and me and you work a deal out.
Right.
See, it's a lot of people out in the wilderness
Right.
that's trying to help us win.
Well, here's the thing. John the Baptist back in the day was saying, I'm just a voice crying out in the wilderness. That's over with. That's over with. The wilderness, the crackheads, the ballers, all them, they crying out. The wilderness is crying out for help. See, it done been flipped. John the Baptist said, I'm just a voice crying out in the wilderness. That's over with. The wilderness crying, help us. Help us. We don't want to go back to penitentiary. I want to work. I want to take care of my family. I do. I need a job. I've been to penitentiary 3 or 4 times. Won't nobody help me. I don't have no other thing to do. Won't nobody hire me. I can't roll with McDonald's. I got 9 kids and child support is knocking on my help.
And you know what? And as they say that, and I feel, I mean, you got a chill going through my body when you said that, because I got a lot of love for these young men that's out here. And you know, and I see them in a visual, and I see myself in them, as our BLT program showed us.
Yes, sir.
That it's so many of us older men that seen ourselves in these little younger men, and that's what Johnny was seeing.
Yes, sir.
That's what Johnny was seeing. Johnny said, I got to get out of here because y'all ain't creating an atmosphere for me to go a little higher.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so I got to go to Stone Mountain and be able to look across 4 or 5 different states so I can create a vision, because without a vision, the people perish.
Come on, preacher. Come on.
The people perish without a vision. And so many of us, we got our own small little vision for our own small island, but it's just for us. And the young men and the young women and the young kids out here crying out from the wilderness saying help, but they talking to a deaf ear. They talking to a deaf ear because our mind is our motives ain't pure, is what you taught me. Your motives got to be pure.
Motives got to be pure.
And when your motives ain't pure, can't nobody be blessed.
No, can't nobody be blessed. You know, we're going back to the church, you kind of elated that it was about money. But my thing, I ain't even worried about, I'm not even talking about really, I'm talking about the pastors. You know, I'm talking about the people. And I know the pastors leading the people, but the people is caught up in the huddle. They going to church and getting high and going home, and 4 hours later, they don't even know what the preacher talked about, right? And they got the same problems. Instead of going and really getting the word that the man of God is preaching, if the man of God is preaching the word, I got to throw that in there. If the man, get that word and then apply it to your life, and so you can come bring somebody with you. Because sheep begotten sheep. The people supposed to lead there and say, man, this is what God is doing for me. Come get you some. And that's the way you change the community, one person at a time. But we going to the church to hear the shouting and ooh, did you hear how he was playing? And oh, man, the good feeling. All you doing, you can stay home and get high.
Entertainment. Is it entertainment? Entertainment.
And then 4 hours later, the entertainment or the hooping and hollering is over with.
You know what, Hub? I thought about something when you said that. It was an old song that the Saints used, and believe me, when I say old Saints, I'm not knocking some of the things that you guys instilled in me, but I do want you to change. I do want you to change. I do want you to upgrade. You know, we got new equipment out here nowadays.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to stick. You ain't got to stick with a 8-track player.
That's right. That's right.
Because
that's
we got
right.
iPods now. We got stuff on your phone. So as technology change, we got to change.
That's right.
Because the sound quality is a little bit different.
That's right.
You know, and so you got to be able to relate to the shawties, and I'm gonna get to that, being able to relate to the shawties. You know, so as things start to change, you know, a song came to my head that the Saints used to say, I'm a soldier
in the
army of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
And so when soldiers, man, you've been to battle, you know, we've been in the army, we've been in the military, so we get all our gear together.
Yes, sir.
And so when you trying to fight in a community in the wilderness, you know, because we trying to win in the wilderness. And so as we trying to fight, my brother Hub got it right here on the table. He got the word of God. So that's part of that armor that you got to have. But in life's armor that you got to have, principles, morals, values, things that you stand for. Integrity, character, structure, things that you'll go for, things that you won't go for. So, one of the shows that my girl like to watch is a newlywed game. It's to test a couple to see if they like-minded.
That's right.
If they equally yoked.
Do you know my favorite color?
Do you know my you know, so to see if that husband really paying attention, see if that wife really paying attention. And so many times they fail.
That's right. That's right.
You in the same household.
That's right.
Working out,
passing in the night.
Ain't that something? You in the same households, and so me and my girl just off the back the other day, she tested one of her uncles. She said, Sean, you tell him what I think on that, and I spit it right out because I know her. I already know her. And it was something related to something. It was something related to something. But I said the police. That's right. Because she ain't going for that. She calling the police.
That's right. I
already know her. I already know her. And that's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
That's a great thing because you got to know the person that you connected with.
That's right. That's right.
You got to know.
Let me give a commercial real quick. Brother Sean is talking about change, and I just feel in my spirit I need to say this. The greatest compliment you can give the Word of God is change. If you call yourself reading this Bible and you hearing the word, if you listen to your preacher preach and you don't want to be changed by what's coming out of his mouth, you need to change churches. Because if this word hits you, it's going to subject you to change. Some kind of way you're going to have to change. There's no way you should go into church Sunday after Sunday or to any environment and not change if this word of God is being spoken.
You know, I was under the teaching of Bishop Philip L. Wright, Bishop Sheriff, back in the day at AOH. And so I went to church. I went to church probably 4-5 times a week back then. And so I listened to the unadulterated gospel,
yes, sir.
Word of God,
putting it down,
Pentecostal, you know, I mean,
turn or burn.
Yeah, man, Tarian services, you know, they'll make you get on the, back in the day it was called the morning.
Yes, sir.
Get on the altar.
Yes, sir.
Until you make yourself get excited about God.
Yes, sir.
You know, the old saints was on it.
Yes,
and so what it taught me back then, so when I hear stuff from Pastor Johnson or any other spiritual pastor speak, thy word have I hidden in my heart.
That's right. That's right.
So as I talked to my sons them about homosexuality and lesbianism yesterday, and as the world's getting this pushed down their throat, forced down their throat, and I'm talking to them about right and wrong. Right is right, whether if ain't nobody doing it. Wrong is wrong if everybody is a participant.
That's right.
So you got to stand on what's right, even if you're a part of it.
Right.
Even if you're a part of what's wrong, you got to still know what's right. My brother Joe say, draw the line in the sand.
Draw the line in the sand.
So when that line come, you know how close you is to that line. And back in the day, the mothers used to teach their kids to stay away from the stove and say, it's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Right.
So many times our people, right now we got the state's attorney over there about to prosecute about 21 juveniles as an adult because they don't understand what the crimes they even committed because they're on the stove hot. The stove hot. So we ain't out here explaining to them, if you do that, the stove hot. Back in the day, old people used to tell us, trouble easy to get into and hard to get out of.
Yes.
And we heard it so repetitious at so many households back in the day. It was a McDonald's commercial for us. So when the brothers got to saying something, hey, we going on campus to take some bikes. Those that were taught that say, I'm not going.
I'm not going.
And spare the rod and spoil the child. We was on that back in the day because they wasn't sparing no rod, and there wasn't no child getting spoiled.
That's right.
We was saving everybody.
Everybody. It's a village.
It was the village, and so we have lost the village, the connection, the relationship, the respect, because I respected everyone back in the day if it was an adult, and even as a kid, it was certain things that you knew I wasn't gonna do.
That's right.
And as friends, we knew our friends.
That's right.
And so we'll say, yeah, he might have did something like that.
Right.
And then we might say, no,
that ain't him.
That ain't him.
That's right.
because whether if we went to Bradley Park, whether we went to the Village, whether we went to Dunbar Court, whether we went to Lakeside, it was somebody that was in control of them villages over there.
That's right.
It was a big mama somewhere over there that had a candy store.
That's right. That's right.
Miss Mary.
That's right. That's right.
You know, that taught us something.
Entrepreneurship.
Man, they left you with something.
That's right. You know, just in Dunbar Court, we had Mother Bean, we had Grandma Rose, and we had Aunt Mary. Mother Bean sold penny candy, Aunt Mary sold it all, and Grandma Rose sold ice cream.
Yeah.
But I mean, I couldn't help but to be entrepreneur. And then Johnny Wilson had the trailer over there. I mean, they still spending this money.
A lot of times, because I'm telling you for real, and I'm keeping it 100 and real with you across the board. You know, I was a distracted young man too in school over there at Urbana High School, and so they wasn't giving me enough to lock into because I had too much else going on, and nobody was creating an atmosphere for that need that I was looking for. So, but when I was sitting inside Mr. Sebastic's human relations class back in the day, and one of the chapters that I did read is say you'll be a product of your environment. Well, you know, that could happen. That could happen. But I contested that because my atmosphere and my environment said one thing.
That's right.
But the Lord was putting people around me to say something different. So and I'm gonna say her name this program because I done said it a bunch of times, and I want to let you know that there's people out there that trip you up. So when Miss Ashenfelter set me in her office because sometimes leadership, because they get high and mighty about leadership, they'll sit people down and they ain't saying the words that's gonna help you grow. They saying the words that'll tear you down. So we ain't planting a seed. So as she said, Sean, you gonna be dead in jail. Well, I didn't take it as a negative because I had saints praying for me. I had Miss Essie pulling stuff in me. She ain't know that I had a ram in the bush. I had a ram in the bush that when I got off that bus, come on over here. I had some older people.
Had a village.
I had the village around me. See, I didn't really need all the love coming from there. See, so many of us now, we looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right. But real quick, Sean, you were blessed to have a mother, a praying mother in a praying village. Now that same lady saying that to them other 9, they popped. They gonna either be dead or in jail.
Especially in today's society.
Yes, sir.
Especially in,
yes,
so
sir.
I always tell my educators, you're definitely there to empower these kids. Well, you know, when you come up with a vision for somebody, come up with a greater vision than even you can fathom.
Right.
So when I talked about it, the lady that was in Baltimore or in New York that created a program, and then she didn't even understand what she had created until the young man came back and said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be who I am. See, we got to be able to, if it wasn't for you. And so that's where your blessing come back in. In order to get a blessing, you got to be a blessing. And so when those people heard that young man's story, money came from around the world.
That's right.
To help her and encourage her about her program.
And the reason that is because it really wasn't her program. It was the vision that God had gave her. And one thing I've learned, God showed me a vision before I went to Iraq about a 5,000 member church. And I won't stop because I know it's going to come to plan. But it's his vision. If I could, I'd run from it. I watched my dad pastor for 30 years. It's nothing. If you're doing it right, it ain't glorious. But one thing that I know that God ain't going to go to Popeye's Chicken and order $100 worth of chicken and not pay for it. What am I saying? If God gave the vision, he going to give provision. And so people going to know your heart and know if you good people. So when you, oh man, that's Sean Williams doing that. Oh, I want to be a part of that. God is going to prick the heart of what, well, how are you going to pay for to build a 5,000 member church? Jimmy John might pay for it. I ain't got it. I know that. It ain't my vision. He that keepeth Israel never slumbers or sleep. My God don't sleep, so I'm going to lay down and get me some rest. Let him worry about that.
But see, we didn't got to this place, to this stuck place.
Yes, sir.
To this dark place
that
we had, and a preacher preached a sermon on that one time about shining us a little light in a dark place, just having a little light make you to see. But we in this dark place, so I'm trying to create this little light for folks to be able to see because I know what God got me here for. I know what my purpose is. See, so many of us out here with no purpose. as we trying to create this atmosphere, what I tried to do, because my brother A-Dub said, you asking all these other people to step up.
Right. You the leader.
But you the leader,
Right,
man.
right.
You the leader. You lead.
Right.
So as God planted in my spirit when I was watching this commercial about the Pacquiao Mayweather fight that's coming up May the 2nd, and that's going to be, we're going to have it next Saturday at the Hilton take that back, at the old Holiday Inn, which is now the Wyndham Hotel over in Urbana. And as we're going to have that next week, I brought in a bunch of people that's a part of this village that recreate relationships. It wasn't about me. I understand that we don't know each other no more.
Right.
So when we don't know each other no more, we ain't going to like each other because we don't know each other.
Right.
So we need to reconnect with a relationship piece, and then we can break bread with each other. So as I tried to create this space, so now we can have a dialogue. I brought 5 DJs together that didn't even talk to each other pretty much, that was hating on each other sometimes.
Sound like leadership to me.
But you know what? It always take that person that gel folks together. Back in the day when I had my barber shop, I understood the connection, how to bring folks together, how to be the bridge. So I brought the GDs together. I brought the Smos together. I brought the Vice Lords together, all in a space over one haircut.
One haircut.
Over one haircut. And I had some guys in a space, and they were into it, violent, like we see the violence now.
Right.
And they were in the barbershop together laughing at the jokes we was telling. And that next weekend went out and killed, and one of them killed the next one. But they was in a space where they respected the space and the leader.
That's right. That's right. That's powerful.
The space and the leader.
And I hear influence. You have to be able to influence. We are the salt of the earth. And the Bible says if you ain't got no salt, you good for nothing but men to be cast down and men to trodden over you. But I had to pull my phone out because that's the message I got this morning.
Leave the light on.
And so it was a man who was 14 years old and got mad at his mom. He was a bishop. And he was 14 years old and got mad at his mom, said, "Mom, I'm leaving, I'm tired, you don't let me do nothing." He went up there and packed this little $38 worth of clothes and shoes and left. And he walked down the street and he heard a noise and kind of got scared and he was real nervous, but he had made the decision to leave. But what he didn't know, he looked back. Some told him, look back. He left back, he looked back. And the light was on. Mama had left the light on. And so in this wicked and perverse place, man, you got to let your light shine, man. You got to leave your light on. You can't turn your light out because there's so many people that out there lost. I mean lost. I call a dead man walking. They walking around dead and they hopeless. And we got to leave our light on so they'll be able to make their way home.
Jason, if you get you a close shot of this right here, and this is what our last Sunday's paper looked like. This is exactly what it is. And I want you to see these faces, our viewing audience. See these faces. These are real people. These are people that got loved ones. And so these guys were murdered in our community this past year. And 4 of these guys on this paper right here grew up directly connected to me through my barbershop. And I buried a couple of these guys, and one of these guys got killed right after being at a funeral for another victim of gun violence. And I said that to say this. One of these guys, let me see this. One of these guys has been a childhood friend of mine that was helping kids by the name of Rashidi Overstreet that was connected over to Douglas Library. And I had just spoke with him. Good man. Raising and foster parent of other kids. And it's so horrific to me to even fathom him even being gone by senseless gun violence. But that brings up the need and the urgency to help these hurting people. Because hurting people go out, kill, steal, and destroy, because if you don't work with them from the Christian aspect, guess who's going to pick them up on their team? So as we talk about teams, who team you think the hurt people going to join?
That's right. They're going to have their own team.
They gonna work for the devil.
That's right.
They're going to work for the devil.
That's right.
Either you part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
Yes, sir.
So many of us, we see ourselves as shining. But my God tells me, my pastor reiterates in me, and the pastor that I served up under, and the people that I've connected with over the years tell me it ain't about the outside.
That's right.
It's about the inside.
That's right.
What are you built for? Are you built to last? Or do you have love in your heart to be able to connect with somebody else and spread a word? Because other than that, this list gets bigger. And what the paper said, because even the newspaper, the News Gazette, the editor that's writing this here, the reporter, the writer that's writing this said, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I was telling some of my people in these meetings is that it's even fearful sometimes to me. But one thing that I understand is that I'm working for God. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord and a servant to this community. And whether if I die from a victim of gunshot or I die from old age or I die from a health problem, I already know where I'm trying to seek to go. And God got me. So I ain't gonna walk around in fear. I'm gonna walk around in faith.
You know, Sean, I cheated. I'll be the first to admit I cheated. Yep, Hub cheated. I cheated and I talked to the Lord. And I asked the Lord what my purpose. And he's drawing my purpose out for my life. So I understand I don't have to fear the violence. Yeah, I had some violence happen to me less than a month ago. People thought I was dead. I ain't going nowhere because my father, my manufacturer, have let me know what he has for me to do. And I can't leave until I get off work. My work is not done. So I cheated, TV Land, I cheated and I asked God what my purpose was. So if you don't know what your purpose is, then you need to ask your manufacturer what your purpose is.
You know, Hub, one of the things about it, man, so many of us got so much pride that we don't want to pick up a word called forgiveness.
Yes, sir.
You know, repentance, forgiveness.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
they cousins.
They cousins.
They cousins.
Yes, sir.
And so many times we won't say, my old people used to say, go back and beg his pardon. Beg his pardon. And I thank the Lord for my old people because they said little small things like that that'll take you all the way through your life.
Yes, sir.
And you'll go back and you'll reference on
sir.
it. And as I look at forgiveness and begging your pardon, being able to say, you know what, I was wrong. You know, that was 10 years ago what I did, I'm changed. And so many times people want you stuck in your past.
That's right.
And so what happens, because God gave you grace.
That's right.
And under the grace and the new
Mercy.
truth that, and the
Yes,
mercy
sir.
and the truth
Yes,
that he
sir.
got
Yes,
for
sir.
you,
Yes, sir.
you know, the people that meant for you, meant that bad for
That's
you,
right.
that violence for you,
That's right.
that homicide for
That's
you,
right. That's
it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen because you was in a position for. I was in a position before when the young man threw the gun on me before, and a couple young men that threw the gun on me in the hood, that I wasn't a victim of the homicide because God said, touch not my anointed. See, I'm not preaching,
That's
and
right.
I ain't.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't study
yes,
all
you
the time.
jackleg
But
it.
you know what?
It's in you. It's in you.
Thanks,
and do
Bishop
my
Wright.
prophet no harm.
Do my prophet no
No
harm.
harm.
Because your work ain't through. Your work ain't finished.
Let me commercial. I'm loading the plane to go to Iraq. We're gonna be over there a year. I got about 49 soldiers that I'm responsible for. So I'm walking and praying, and they looking at me, Seon Burnett, yeah, and I'm laughing and joking. But inside, I'm a little nervous. And I said, Lord, let me tell you something. I only got 2 years to do until I can retire. I got 18 years. And I didn't do all this time, Lord. I'm talking to him just like I'm talking to you, for me to go over there and come back in the body bag. And why did I even have to go? You know, my mom and them had prayed that I wouldn't even have to go. And at first they said I didn't have to go, and I didn't go originally, but the section that I was over was doing so poorly. The general said, man, bring that guy over here. We need these med supplies to be right. Make a long story short, the Lord whispered to me, the reason I had to allow you to go, because it's a whole lot of them 49 soldiers that don't know me, and they going to know me through you. Their peace is not going to be in there. Their peace is going to be in they with you. And so when purpose on board, you ain't got to know. The reason the disciples didn't drown in the Sea of Galilee, because purpose was on board. He said, peace be still. And so once he told me that I was good, I was a totally different person the whole time I was over there, Sean. I didn't fear death because I know death wasn't going to happen, which allowed my soldiers to be confident in not fearing death.
You know what, Hud, what came to my mind, what poured in my spirit at the time you were just saying that, is that a lot of times when God trying to use us, we run from what God trying to, the door that he's trying to, because he's really trying to open the door.
Yes, sir.
But you got to be able to go through the wilderness.
Yes, sir.
You got to be able to go through that so he can use you as a tool.
Yes, sir.
To help others.
Yes, sir.
And so when I thought about that, I thought about we just got past the Easter Sunday. We just got past the Resurrection Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And even
Woo!
Jesus.
Come on, boy.
Even Jesus didn't want to go.
No.
He didn't want to go.
If it's possible.
If it's any way possible.
Yes, sir. Let this cup pass from me.
He didn't want to go. But while he was on the cross.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He saved another
yes,
soul
sir.
even
yes, sir.
on the cross.
On the cross.
So we got to be able to, we got to put ourselves in the way of danger sometimes to be able to save these right here.
Yes, sir. Sean, if I reach down to grab a young man or a young woman who fell in the mud, I got to be crazy. It's crazy
you're gonna get some mud
if I don't think I'm going to get no mud on.
If you don't think, so we didn't got too clean though. We didn't got too clean. We didn't got so clean that we didn't broke every record on being clean at church. We done broke every record on that choir show did sing. We done broke every record at Ryan's for attendance on going after church. But won't we break a record in one of these community meetings and say, man, I ain't never seen so many people show up. We broke one record on election, and that was because we wanted to see an African-American president. But then we just failed so poorly on election, right here in our own community, during the most toughest times that we have had in this community on education, on all kinds of fronts.
And Sean, the very sad part about that is we had done better. So it ain't like we had never came out and voted. See, once you show me you know the answer to the test, you can't tell me you don't know the answer. We showed that we had the answers, that we could get on doors and we could knock on doors and we could rally Byron Clark. Byron Clark was the figurehead. That's the guy who comes to my mind. He was the figurehead and rallied behind him and made it happen. But then, okay, we got Carol Ammons in, we got A-Dub and we got people in. Now we can sit back and chill.
Lay back.
And send Jamar to the lions and tigers and bears. You know what I'm saying?
Kicked them to the curb.
Because we got content.
Kicked them to the curb. And so many times.
I ain't talking about you unless I'm talking about you now.
No,
so don't get mad.
And a lot of times, once we lay back, my brother-in-law, Oscar Brooks used to always say, you done got fat. You done got you got fat on the hog.
Fat on the hog.
You done got fat on the hog. Now you eating good.
Right.
Now you eating good. You ain't worried about nobody else eating good.
Right.
And then you start, now you riding good. You ain't looking for nobody else to ride good. Well, I listen to the Temptations say it's lonely at the top. So they want to start bringing other people to the top. You got to keep the door open.
That's right. Leave the light on.
Leave the light on for somebody else. But we cutting lights off. As soon as we make it there, we get so much education, we get wrapped up into that. And if you ain't got a PhD or a doctrine or your name ain't doctor, reverend, minister, bishop, apostle, this.
Drunk.
Come on, man. You
drunk
drunk off yourself. You one of my rap groups say you a pimp in your own mind.
Legend in your own mind.
Yeah, you're a legend in your own mind. To nobody else, you ain't nothing.
You the best you know.
But you the best person that you know. And my brother Jamar, and I thank him for being so young, he said when you start being the top in your circle,
you need to change circles.
You need to change circles.
Yeah.
When you start being the most smartest, the brightest, the this, and so many times we don't want no other bright people with us, because we want to control
all
people.
The shine.
We want to control people,
sir.
as we just seen happen in a church environment where folks supposed to be saving folks, folks trying to control folks.
But that's not true leadership. And I told you for years, me and you battled for at least 3 years. Now Herbert ain't. I said, Sean, it's leadership. And one day you called me and said, man, the leadership is popped.
and because if and what your dad say, if you lead,
if you lead and ain't nobody following, you just taking a walk.
You just taking a walk.
Jesus told Peter, he said, Simon, Simon, Satan desires to have you that he may sift you as wheat. But I prayed for you that your faith fail thee not. He didn't pray that Simon wouldn't fail because a couple of scriptures down, he said, you're going to deny me 3 times. But he said, I pray that your faith fail thee not, and when you are converted, strengthen thy brethren. And that's what you're talking about, Shine. Don't just let your light shine for you. Grab somebody else. Pull somebody else. I just got real angry because the building was sold that could have went to me or could have went in the circle. Now it went outside the circle. It's over with.
And
I got angry that quick.
And John Lee fought so hard down
man.
at the city council meeting. Reverend West and them came to that meeting as a ritual. They made it no matter what was going on. They going to the city council meeting, and John Lee was researched out. And so he spent so much time on that North First Street project. And we didn't gave it back up. We don't even see the value.
And here I am paying almost $2,000 a month rent. And we were in the same organization. They could have said, hey, Hub, we don't want this building no more, man. Whatever you need to do to get this building, we want you to have it so that you can be paying mortgage instead of rent.
You know what, Hub? And even that, because you being a participant of that,
I'm in the circle.
But seeing a value
yes.
into operating our own black business district.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So that we can empower young men like this because they don't see enough examples out here.
They don't.
And so only people that they see out here on the streets doing something is the drug dealer driving 28.
Right.
See,
let
me just hit you with this right here while I'm talking about that.
You got me.
Driving 28. So what I did is stepped outside the box, went and bought a car with some 28s on it so I could show the young man all you got to do is put the work in.
Yeah, that's right.
Go to work, man. And you get anything the drug dealer got, anything that anybody else got around the country. But so many of us, we so stuck with stereotype and labeling folk. So I got folk looking at me crazy, thinking I'm some drug dealer that pulled up next to him. But man, I'm working when you sleep.
That's right.
I'm working when you over there partying.
That's right.
I'm doing what Darren Williams
up for real.
When Darren Williams them said. I said, man, y'all going over there to the step down thing on the campus. He said, man, I'm trying to go to the NBA.
That's right.
I ain't got time for that. He said, I got plenty of time to party. I got plenty of time for women.
That's right.
I ain't got time for that.
That's right.
And so him, D. Brown, Luther Head, and all them, they got a haircut and went to the oven.
That's right.
While everybody else stepping.
That's right.
See, in order to have things people don't have, you got to be willing to do what they won't do.
Sean, and I'm gonna get up off of this because I honestly I did get angry, but I just the Spirit said they don't know, they don't really know no better. But don't you know if I'm paying mortgage instead of rent, then that means I'm just putting my money in the bank, and maybe I can hire a couple of these guys. It all works together. It's hand in hand. Everything is a pot. But if you just think it's about you, okay, I ain't gonna do this no more, I'm gonna just give it away. No, you ain't just affecting you. You affecting Lum Rose probably turning over in his grave right now.
Man, what you talking about? Because them guys been down there, we watched the Masonic. We watched the Masonic 100-year organization go away through the hands. They say you work like a heathen all your days.
That's Proverbs.
And turn it and leave it to the hands of a fool.
Turn the riches in the hand of a fool.
Ain't that something? And we don't see the value in each other. So we not shopping with each other.
That's right.
I just had somebody call me, and I had several phone calls because they see me in business, but they don't want to shop in my business.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so they just asked me for a $200 donation. Somebody else asked me to support a children's program. They needed $150. Somebody else sent me some letters for 4 kids at the cotillion. But and when I did the research, none of these people shop with me, but they didn't have 4 or 5 loved ones pass away, and they took the money to Danville.
That's right.
So, so as I tried to, and I was just telling somebody what my numbers was this year, and it's just a small snippet of what the bigger pie is.
That's right.
So we done sent $2.6 million up to Danville to go to Danville youth, Danville businesses, Danville organizations, Danville families. But who gonna save the kids at Richmond Champagne?
That's right.
Who gonna get back? Who gonna get a summer?
And Sean, that's on that's on leadership.
I go back to this hub, and I'm so excited. And I'm so excited about the program because we hitting some real hard topics today that are very vital. But I was at a city council meeting one day, and this is the views and opinions of Sean straight across the board. And I'm like, Brother Hub, don't worry about that.
Hey, we're going to have to call you back. We in the middle of taping the show. We're going to holler back at you, Bo Peep. We'll holler back at you. I had to answer because we proud that you left here and got your trucking license.
Yes,
and
sure
you're doing
did.
really good. And you picked me up in a 2015 truck, brand new truck, and we proud of you, man. So we saying
Brother
that on
that helped
TV
us with the BLT
land,
program.
You went from scrapping around Champaign-Urbana to trucking school, and now you got your own 2015 truck, man. God bless you, my brother. We'll holler at you later on. Peace.
Right on, man. You know, and that's one of the brothers that was BLT program, and he from the streets, but changed his life around. He driving trucks around the country right now.
Yes.
Got a 2015
truck.
big old truck that he rolling around
Yes,
in.
sir. Big old bed in there and everything,
So
man.
I don't go with you can't change.
That's right.
You gotta be convicted in your heart and tired of being tired and make some change happen.
right.
But one of the things that I was gonna mention, that I was at a city council meeting, we was fighting for the summer youth program, fighting for the summer youth program, and I always believe we got our own resources because that provision that you said, God already got it around it, but you got to be to see the value in each other to be able to pull it out of each other. And so when we was trying to fight for this summer youth program, I think second year or something, and we're down there fighting, and they wanted us to show up, and we showed up, and I'm in the back, and I'm talking to one of the taxpaying white citizens of Champaign, and they said, and he brought us to the back, and he said, I mean, you're looking for $200,000 from the taxpaying citizens of Champaign, and you guys, you're from the African American community. You don't have anything. You don't got $10,000. I mean, what about $10,000? And I'm saying, I'm like, well, he talking right, and he said, well, you give your churches $70,000. You get leadership, and you're giving different prophets that's coming to town. You're paying them $30,000 and $40,000. You can't give it to your youth, to the people that really need it in your community. He blew me away with that.
Wow.
But
he had done his homework.
But at the same time, you can't knock that. You can't fight against the prick because the man telling you the truth. We got our own money in our own community because we done took 2.6 to Danville. We got to invest back in our own people, man. Have some love in our own people. I told these guys that I'm doing this thing with, yeah, I could take my money and do something else with, but I can't grow if my people don't grow.
That's right. That's right.
If I can't bring the team up, then I can't grow. That's right. So I got to invest back in my people and show them how to love on each other. That's right. I see the problem in the ills that's happening to my folk, and I got to be able to take a little bit of my stash and throw it back out there so we can have a night of just, forgiveness, a night of just love, a night of relationship building, a night of high-fiving, a night of just saying, remember when.
Sean, you hit a real nerve. Right now I'm on, I got 7 kids total. And I'm on this kick with my kids now because for the last years, probably since I've been here, I've really been engaged in the community and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I have relationship with them, but not like I really want. God told me where I'm taking you, you need to bring your kids tighter and make sure that they tighter. And so I was in Dallas for 2 weeks and went back the next month for 10 days. And what I sat down at the table and talked to them about is the reason that y'all are doing so well, one in law school, one about to go to pre-med school, the other one's at big time insurance. I have one here, the Spanish teacher. My son just about to go to barber school, wants to own his own. And so everybody, I got another son that's on his way to college, one in college. I mean, everybody doing good, but I had to explain to him, it's because I'm invested in the kids where I'm at. Ain't no way if I invest in these kids, God's gonna let my kids go to ruin. But so many people, Sean, are only concerned about they 4 and no more. That ain't my problem. That ain't my problem. Well, guess what? This is your problem because it's happening on your watch.
And
it's your problem.
And the same thing is that sometimes we don't see it being us. But at the same time, we don't control this here and correct this right here. This mother that's hurting, this grandmother that's hurting, that could be you.
That can be you.
That can be you. Because my mom used to raise us up, and the older people said, bullets have no eyes.
That's right.
Bullets have no eyes.
That's right.
And I know we're coming to the closing of this program. Just been a great program, a great, powerful program. We're coming to the close of this program. But before I close out, one of the things that me and Dave Barr, we put a program together along with Victor over at El Toro's, and what we did with these cars, because you could take what you got. You could take what you got and use it as a tool.
Yeah.
So Dave said, Sean, we had a meeting, he said, Sean, you know, he said, we all love cars. I got my car, he got a Maserati, and he got a Lamborghini, and Victor, he owns a bunch of muscle cars, and I had my one Benz.
One Benz.
My one Benz that the Lord done blessed me with. I thought I'd never get, because I came to Champaign walking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so the Lord then blessed me with something I couldn't even fathom. So then what we did is we took those cars, and I called it Sergeant Major Thomas up there at the Lincoln Challenge program. And I said, Sergeant Major, we want to do a program with your youth over there. So when we got up there, you know, we thought wasn't nobody inside this big old warehouse, a hangar. We didn't think nobody was there. We walked in there with 600 kids, 600 youth that need guidance,
Yes, sir.
that need some
Yes,
attention,
sir.
need some
Yes,
love.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And so we went in there and we all got a story. You know, Dave's story is different than my story.
right.
My story is
That's
different
right.
than Victor's
That's
story.
right.
But we all had a story of
right.
how we got there.
That's right.
You know, because a lot of times people looking at you for where you're at right now
That's right.
and don't see where God then brought you
That's
from.
right. It's the story behind the glory.
It's a story. And so we got to be willing to say to each other, tell your testimony. Don't keep it to yourself, because all of us got a testimony. And so in letting our little light shine, so that the light, leave the light on.
Powerful.
Leave the light on.
Yes, sir.
Leave your light on.
Yes, sir.
Don't live in a place of darkness.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
live in a place of misery,
Yes, sir.
hate, bitter,
Yes,
because
sir.
hurt people hurt people. And so you don't even realize sometimes that you hurt. But when you build up, because a tree is known by the fruit that it bears.
Yes, sir.
And so when I see a hurt kid, I probably could see a hurt dad, a hurt mom, a hurt grandmama, a hurt granddaddy, some hurt uncles, aunties, because the tree just then is withered.
Just touch on BLT, how we started off, but some of the people that we brought in to help facilitate, they was breaking down crime.
Oh man, we started out with 6 kids the first week, and by the 6th week, we had 60 kids in a small space in a barbershop setting, and we didn't know that once we brought them kids, and that brother Bo Peep, he didn't have no big truck then. He had a little car, and he rode around the hood and say, hey man, y'all need to get to the barbershop, because that's what you got to do. You got to be leaders.
That's right.
And stop being wimps.
That's right.
And so he went over there and checked them. Man, get to the barbershop right now. And big shouts out to Reggie and Antoine for bringing them pizzas.
Yes, sir.
And we brought them in there. But we
sir.
not only found out that the kids was hurt,
right.
we found out the adults that was trying to get them the story, they was
right.
hurt too.
They was
because
hurt too.
because anytime you don't address a hurt wound,
That's right.
it only grows
That's
deeper and
right.
deeper and deeper
That's right.
because it's unresolved.
Right.
So I thank the Lord for this TV program. I thank the Lord for everybody that watch me every Sunday night. I thank the Lord for my brother Hub, Jason, Jake, UPTV, all the viewing audience out there. Don't forget about Manny Pacquiao fight May 2nd at the Wyndham Garden. Another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. Big shouts out to you. Peace.
Peace.